So in my other videos, I showed you guys how to make vinegar, how to start the process. There's different videos on the internet and there's different techniques of how to do it. Some people say it needs to breathe because of the type of bacteria that needs to eventually turn the alcohol from the initial fermentation to vinegar. So for this reason, you might, what I do is initially to get the fermentation happen, I kind of have my lid like this, because this prevents any infections from going in. The solid lid prevents any dust coming in and everything. And then the fermentation, if you see the bubbles coming out of here, those are bubbles, that's CO2, that's the byproduct of fermentation. That they fill the gap in here and they prevent any type of oxygen going in there or anything bad, and just prevents from mold. The mold that a lot of people have issues with, it prevents that. But after you get the fermentation done, after this fermentation is done, you can argue, because I always did it like this, and I always get really good vinegar. But you can argue this step. Some people will put like a paper towel over coffee filters or something like that, just to allow it to breathe, so that then your fermented liquids can actually turn into vinegar, because it's a different type of bacteria at this point that takes over, and this bacteria needs oxygen to survive and to turn your fermented fruits into actual vinegar. Okay, so but I never had issues with it, and you can always every couple of days take this off and kind of check on it, and stir your apples. You see all that stuff going, that's the CO2 from the apples. So I never had infections using this technique. And at this point, once you get the alcohol this really good going and established, then you can remove your lid. If that's the way you want to go about it, you can remove your lid and replace it with something else, like put a towel or it's some kind of a covering where it can breathe, and to speed up the process of your vinegar being created. Okay, in another video, this is going to be a 2-for video, I showed you guys how to germinate smaller seeds. So basically, you put some soil in the bag, put some moisture in it, you put those tiny little microscopic seeds in there, and then just keep it next to a heat source. I happen to keep it next to a window, and then, because normally it takes a very long time for small seeds to establish themselves in the bag. But this is only a couple of weeks later. Not sure if you guys can see, there's already seeds coming out. This particular one is mullein that I've collected on a plant that I found outdoor. It was next to a freeway, so pollution and whatnot. I didn't use any parts of the plant, but the seeds are fine, because that's just passing on genetic material, and then you can get plants, healthy plants, from those. So you can use this technique for any small seeds, like those microscopic little seeds. You don't have to have it by window, but just take advantage of nature, because I have double pane windows, so this will trap in heat in it. So anyway, so this is a 2-for. It's been about 2 weeks maybe at this point with this vinegar, with this fermentation. Initially all the apples were nice and red, so another thing, they will turn yellow. The color from the skins will go away, and then also the color of your vinegar will very slowly start changing. It become more yellowish, kind of like this, and then depending on what type of apples you use, it might develop additional color as well with time. Okay, so there you go. That's how I do my vinegar. And you can use any type of fruits for vinegar, really. Apple, pears, any type of fruit. As a matter of fact, there's this guy on YouTube that was doing where he stumbled into a pretty cool thing where you can use dried fruits. I haven't actually tried it, like dried raisins or just dried, any type of dried fruit that you can get. And the benefit of dry fruit is that it will sink to the bottom. Not all the fruits, but a lot of the fruits, they will sink to the bottom of your fermenting vessel, so they're below submerged, so they have a benefit of not getting infected by anything, because your food will submerge and they still have all the everything in there necessary needed for fermentation to happen. Whereas a fresh fruit, has air and it's trapped in the body of the fruit, tends to float like this. But not all. Some dried fruits will float as well. So I can see why some people might like that idea, especially when you just first time, your first time trying it out, starting out, and you want to be successful. So that's a pretty good tip as well. And you can buy dry fruits in stores year round. It doesn't have to be in season. So that's something to consider. Again, you don't want to screw this on because you want to kind of allow it to the gas to escape. And then when I smell it, it smells really nice. All right. Cheers.